Have you ever had that eerie feeling that your phone is listening in on your every conversation? You're chatting with your friend or maybe talking to her over the phone about buying a new bag, and boom! Next thing you know, your social media feed is flooded with ads for the exact same bag. Coincidence? Maybe not, but how does this happen? How does our online world seem to know every thought and desire? That's called online privacy, and in today's lesson, I'll teach you 12 words and phrases that you can use when you want to talk about online privacy in English. So stay tuned. Here's our word list. Data, policy, breach, campaign, notify, scandal, whistleblower, backlash, testify, regulate, default, opt out. Now, I will play an audio file about online privacy for you, and I want you to listen carefully and try to catch all the words on the list that I just showed you. Let's listen to it.
In 2015, Cambridge Analytica, a voter analytics group, accessed the private data of 87 million Facebook users. They bought the information from a psychology professor from the University of Cambridge. Professor Alexander Kogan had used an app called This Is Your Digital Life to collect data from Facebook users' locations, likes, and sometimes even private messages. At the time, data collection by third-party apps was not illegal under Facebook's policies. However, when the professor sold the information to Cambridge Analytica, this became a severe privacy breach. Cambridge Analytica worked for Donald Trump's presidential campaign. Facebook learned of this privacy breach in 2015, but did not notify its affected users at the time. Instead, Facebook took down the app and told Cambridge Analytica to delete any user information it had. The company agreed to do this, but they used the information to help the Trump campaign instead. In March 2018, the public became aware of Facebook's worst privacy scandal in history when a Canadian whistleblower who had previously worked for Cambridge Analytica shared his story with The Guardian. When the story broke, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg, who usually tries to stay out of the limelight, had to face the backlash of millions of Facebook users. The CEO quickly admitted to his company's mistake and said it had updated its policies to prevent this from happening again. Zuckerberg's apology was not enough for U.S. lawmakers. In April 2018, the CEO was asked to testify before the U.S. Senate on the subject of privacy. While in the hot seat, Zuckerberg admitted to mistakes but defended his company, saying that it started in his dorm room and was never expected to grow as quickly as it did. During the Senate hearings, Zuckerberg said he would consider a new policy requiring Facebook to notify users within 72 hours of a privacy breach. He also agreed that a law requiring tech companies to get permission before reusing a user's data would be a good idea. When asked if he thought his company should be regulated, Zuckerberg said yes, if Facebook was treated as a tech company rather than a media company. Despite this scandal, Zuckerberg did not commit to changing users' default privacy settings. Many people want the default settings on social media sites, such as Facebook, set so that users have to opt out of strict privacy rather than opt in. However, the CEO did vow to work with the Senate on improving online privacy for the future. The company also offered a tool to allow users to see if their data had been compromised in the Cambridge Analytica scandal.
Now, let's take a deeper dive in today's words and see their definitions together and also practice pronunciation. Number 1, data, data, data. information that is stored and shared digitally. Information that's stored or shared digitally. For example, private data of 87 million Facebook users. Private data. Private data. The next word is policy. 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 Policy means an administration set of regulations and procedures. An administration set of regulations and procedures. For example, at the time, data collection by third-party apps was not illegal under Facebook's policies. At the time, data collection by third-party apps was not illegal under Facebook's policies. Policies, so it's a countable noun. Policy, policies. The next word is breach. 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 E, long E, breach. Breach means a failure to observe a rule or law. A failure to observe a rule or law. For example, at the time, data collection by third-party apps was not illegal under Facebook's policies. However, when the professor sold the information to Cambridge Analytica, this became a severe privacy breach. Privacy breach. Severe privacy breach. A severe privacy breach. A very good and useful collocation or phrase that you can use when you want to talk about online privacy. So, privacy breach, severe is an adjective that you can add to this phrase. Severe privacy breach. Severe privacy breach. Number 4, campaign. 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 Campaign means an organized effort to promote something or someone or a cause. So, campaign means an organized effort to promote someone, something, or a cause. For example, Cambridge Analytica worked for Donald Trump's presidential campaign. Cambridge Analytica worked for Donald Trump's presidential campaign. The next word is notify. 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 Notify means to tell or to make someone aware of something or to inform. So, notify means to tell or to inform or to make someone aware of something. For example, Facebook learned of this privacy breach in 2015, but did not make its affected users aware of this at the time, or did not inform its affected users at the time. Number 6, scandal. 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 Scandal means information that becomes public and is damaging to someone's reputation. So, information that becomes public and is damaging to someone's reputation. For example, in March 2018, the public became aware of Facebook's worst privacy scandal in history. Privacy scandal. So, the first collocation that we had with privacy was privacy breach, right? A severe privacy breach. So this is another great collocation that you can use. Privacy scandal. Privacy scandal. So privacy scandal refers to an incident or situation where there is a breach of someone's private information. So Privacy scandal, listen carefully, refers to an incident or situation when there's a breach of someone's private information. Where, for example, somebody out there, just like Facebook, makes your private information, your personal information, or your personal data accessible to someone or to a company. Okay? So that's called privacy scandal. Privacy scandal. The next word is whistleblower. Whistleblower. Whistleblower is someone who makes scandalous information public. So, someone who makes scandalous information public. Whistleblower. For example, in March 2018, the public became aware of Facebook's worst privacy scandal in history when a Canadian whistleblower who had previously worked for Cambridge Analytica shared his story with The Guardian. So, a Canadian whistleblower who had previously worked for Cambridge Analytica shared his story with The Guardian. So, someone who makes someone who makes scandalous information public. Scandalous. So remember the word scandal, which is a noun. Here is the adjective scandalous. 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 Can you tell me the definition of scandalous? Comment below. The next word is backlash. 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 Backlash means a strong or negative reaction. So a strong reaction, which is mainly negative. So a very strong and negative reaction to something. For example, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg, who usually tries to stay out of the limelight, had to face the backlash of millions of Facebook users. Had to face the backlash of millions of Facebook users. Had to face the negative reaction of millions of Facebook users. Okay, so negative reaction, backlash. Face the backlash. Face it. Face a situation. Face a challenge. Okay, so face the backlash of millions of Facebook users. The next word is testify. 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 Testify means to give one's own account of what happened before a court. To give one's own account of what happened before a court. For example, in April 2018, the CEO was asked to testify before the US Senate on the subject of privacy. So, in April 2018, the CEO was asked to testify before the US Senate on the subject of privacy. Testify before someone or something. Testify before the US Senate. Number 10. Regulate. 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 Regulate means to control through rules and laws. To control through rules and laws. Regulate. Regulate. For example, when asked if he thought his company should be regulated, Zuckerberg said yes, if Facebook was treated as a tech company rather than a media company. So when asked if he thought his company should be regulated, Zuckerberg said yes. So if his company should be regulated. 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 Regulate. Regulated. Number 11. Default. 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 The stress is on the second syllable. So default. The da. Default means pre-selected user settings that can be changed by the user. So pre-selected user settings that can be changed by the user. For example, despite this scandal, Zuckerberg did not commit to changing users' default privacy setting, default privacy setting, default privacy setting, default privacy setting. So despite this scandal, Zuckerberg did not commit to changing users' default privacy setting. And the last word is opt out. Opt out. Opt out means to choose not to participate in something, to choose not to participate in something, or to choose not to use something. So to choose not to use something or to choose not to participate in something. Opt out. The opposite of opt out is opt in, which means to choose to be in something or to use something or to participate in something. Opt out. For example, many people want the default settings on social media sites such as Facebook set so that users have to opt out of strict privacy. Opt out of strict privacy. Not to participate, not to use, not to choose. Opt out. And as I said, the opposite of opt out is opt in. Opt in. The last part of our today's lesson is for students studying for IELTS, TOEFL, or any other English language exam. I'm going to show you some questions, and I want you to really think about these questions and try to come up with an answer using the words and vocabulary list or even phrases in the article in the audio file that we listened to today. Do you find it difficult to limit the personal data that companies collect from you when you are online? What does personal data include? Which types of personal information do you think need the most protection? What do you do to protect your own privacy when you are online? How does online privacy differ in your home country compared to other countries? Do you think governments will soon do much more to regulate tech and media giants in countries such as the US? Will regulation lead to censorship? Will online privacy be more important in 10 years than it is today, or will people become more open and used to sharing more? What will online privacy look like in 20 years? Before looking at the sample answers available to you on our Telegram channel, I really want you to really think and try to come up with an answer, and then check out the sample answers. Until another lesson, love you guys so much. Take care and bye-bye.